Hello, everyone. How you doing? How you doing? Hi. Is the chat working right? Yeah, okay, the chat is working right. Hey, guess what? I had to switch back to the old chat because I'd switched chat boxes with the whole experiment with what's it called? Restream that fell on its ass because Restream fucking sucks. So back to the old chat box for now. Hi, everyone. How you doing? How you doing? How was your day? How was your Friday? Hope it was a good one. The weekend is here, and yeah, we can all relax now. We can all relax now. The other chatbot kept duplicating messages. Yeah, Restream ain't great. It ain't great. Like, not at all. It's pretty bad actually. It was a waste of money even trying using it. I think I that was genuinely not a smart move on my part. But yeah, hello everyone. There's a lot of you in chat today. Hey, by the way, Demon Rex 35 over on Twitter. Saw your message. The tower, awesome. Deal with it. Okay. You can like the Tau. That's always been allowed. I don't know what you want, man. I don't know what you want, man. Like seriously. I can't physically stop you from liking the Tau. You're allowed to have bad taste, okay? You are allowed to have bad taste. That is your right. Like you don't need to get all like fucking, you don't need to get all like, Pride Month on me about playing Tau. It's cool, dude. You can calm down. You're going to survive. It will be fine. I need your insulin. Thanks for the reminder. I don't know where I reminded. Where did I say something I would remind someone of that? I really don't know. Huh. Tau fan shadowboxing? Yeah, that's every day, Listen, if Tau fans didn't have Imperium fans they made up in their heads to argue with all day, they'd go insane from utter loneliness. So, yeah. Oh, excuse me. Oh, jeez Christ. Starting off the stream burping like a pig. Jesus, man. I'm so fucking rude. I really gotta be better about that. Nice. No, those burps suck, man. What are you on about? Fridays are insulin injection day. Oh, okay, I get you. Last video today was great and on point. Hey, Angry Badger, how you doing, man? Yeah, the one about Dev. Yeah, no, that was funny. I really didn't like editing that video because it was really annoying keeping the censorship bar over Dev's foul language. That was really annoying. Trying to keep that, keep all that. I need to figure out how to do like. I've seen other people who edit shit do it where they just keep like an image moving on a point, and I don't really know how to do that when editing something because I'm pulling this shit out my ass as I go, figuring it out. Dev is a joke. I mean, yeah, no, listen. You can't spell wrong without Dev, all right? Howdy, boy, been getting moved in your new apartment? It's been hell. Hey, man, listen. I hope once you're all settled, things pick up for you, all right? What did the ocean say to the beach? Nothing. It just waved. Oh, God damn it, Chonka. Nobody made Tau less likable than Tau fanboys hating on anyone who doesn't simp for the ethereals. No, yeah, no, unironically. Tau got their hate because they were the that guy faction for meta slaves in 3rd edition. And then the people who think the Tau were the good guys swooped in when Warhammer became known on Reddit. Because of memes from 4chan from people who didn't read the lore. So, yeah. Before it became unironic commies who think the eugenicist alien fascists are the good guys, it was that guy playing basically the most broken, unfun to fight army, always setting up the table with a massive clear no man's land you had to foot slog across. with all of his guys on the other end just shooting you. The Pippa clip was funny. Yeah, no, I fully get Pippa. I fully get Pippa on that, you know? Actually, the Imperium are the good guys. Yes, that, but unironically. That, but unironically. And always remember, whenever a Tau fan starts getting on your case about liking the Imperium, always remember, per capita, the Tau commit more cruelty against humans than the Imperium ever could. But yeah, no, it's like, it's been a funny week of people getting, you know, like, as you can see by the title of the stream, we'll cover some other stuff besides this topic, besides the topics in the title, of course, as you do. But it's the Pippa clip. Oh, okay, broken scale. Let me tell you about this. It's a clip of Pippa, you know, Pipkin Pippa. Short Fat Otaku, you know, Dev, showed up in her chat, and she immediately starts roasting him in the most brutal way possible. Like you know, like calling him a freak and like, you know, wishing he'd get hit by a truck, and saying like, you know, saying stuff like, "Oh, you went to the doctor's office, like, oh no, I'm short and fat." And the doctor said, "Too bad, it's terminal." Yeah, I remember when he had beef with Kirsch when one of his friends was doing gay ops for him in Kirsch's Discord server. That is like, what a pathetic creature. What a pathetic creature. Wait, did that happen before? Okay, maybe some of y'all who know the history of this a little better than me. Did that happen before or after the Hogwarts Legacy drama? Because that might explain why he had such beef with fucking, you know, Henya's old persona before she got harassed off the internet by the people who were really upset about Hogwarts Legacy. Those people. Hey, Loss, how you doing? Nothing. Yeah, we're just yapping right now. His witch hunts against Kirsch were disgusting. Well, I mean, listen, maybe one day, maybe if he keeps it up, Lilith Lovett will finally notice him, okay? Maybe one day, if he keeps it up, she'll finally notice him, you know, and like, let him like lick her feet or something. I don't know. Dev seems the type. He went after Kirsch after Pikami, to my knowledge. Oh, okay. So then in that case, the Pikami thing. Okay, I was not like, you know, Kirsch and Pippa, like, handing him his ass in a platter would have been like, you know, the reason he went after Pikami. But, you know, yeah. No, okay, no, it's not that. He's just, you know, he just has no principles and no morals, and he's an extreme leftist with a warped view of the Overton window, who thinks that you know, the gateway to far left in the middle of the left is centrism. Short Fat Otaku versus Canadian healthcare. Well, he's certainly fat enough that he'll be fighting with Canadian healthcare soon enough. Small reminder that Dev talked shit about Pikami, and when Henya debuted, he was all, "See, I told you guys, Pikami was just using you." Yeah, no, like, people, a lot of people seem to forget Pikami was going to debut a new model very soon when, you know, when she announced the graduation over the harassment. She was literally going to announce a new model, and I think what ended up happening is, like, okay, my conspiracy theory is that the Henya model was the new model, and it was like, you know, she took the opportunity to rebrand when joining VShojo, and I really don't blame her with all the harassment she got. I mean, the harassment she got was disgusting. Like, it's not a matter of opinion, you know? And then Dev being all like, oh, well, she was weak. And it's like, phone, shut the fuck up. No one asked you. Jesus. I keep forgetting to mute my damn phone every time. Memory serves, the Kirsch Gaops happened before Hogwarts Legacy. Okay, yeah, like I said, I don't keep my ear to the ground on all the pathetic bullshit Dev gets up to in a day. Like, he just ends up across my dash sometimes because...
And I must say that almost everything I've witnessed has been cringe.
Hey, see that, how you doing? Yeah, we're talking about short fat otaku, so... Yeah, shit's pretty cringe, man. Shit's pretty cringe. Oh, excuse me. Dev is the epitome of weak, plus he's a Canadian. Yeah. Yeah, and like, I'm sorry other decent Canadians have to deal with his type, but, you know, his type existing in their nation. Like, seriously. Water flavor, oh wait. Have you drank your daily water flavored hydration ration yet? No, but I've got a stiff drink right next to me. Well, about as stiff as zero sugar ginger ale can be, but you know, a drink nonetheless. Stop paying attention to short fat otaku, and every time I hear about him is when he's randomly beefing with VTubers for no reason. Yeah, like the guy legit lost all of his, you know, online relevancy. Like his career is washed, you know? It's like it's washed up. He's washed up. He's got nowhere to go. Pikami is a Japanese woman living in Japan who has an entire ocean separating her and her country's people from the J.K. Rowling controversy. Yeah. Well, look, listen. Personally, now that Hogwarts Legacy 2 is in production, I can't wait for the controversy to boil back up again so the game can sell another, bajillion, gorillion copies. Both SJWs and Dev were insisting that streamers in general, even Japanese streamers, need to treat being harassed as though it's like putting on a seatbelt. Yeah, no, like, I'm sorry, but if you're honest, unironically giving the advice of you are being harassed to the point you can't, you know, engage in your content creation, you just need to deal with it. The only people who give a person who give the target of the harassment that advice are people with something to gain from the harassment. You guarantee beefs with VTubers because Lilith doesn't like them. That wouldn't surprise me either. Of course, Lilith wouldn't like VTubers. You know, Lilith Lovett is a porn star with a shelf life that ends at 30. You know, like of course Lilith is gonna fucking like not like VTubers. That's just the way it goes. You know, you got your average OnlyFans whore like does not like VTubers because hey, guess what? VTubers are actually entertaining and don't have a shelf life they need to extend with expensive plastic surgery and makeup and shit, you know? Reading Harry Potter on the train and shaking your head the entire time so people I know don't 100% automatically agree with the author's views. Yeah, no, listen, I'd be reading Harry Potter on the train and be like, oh, okay. Every single kid in this school carries their people's equivalent of a gun and is trained how to use it. Okay, this is a pro-Second Amendment book, very based. Wokes probably have even more cringe controversy due to how desperate and beyond pathetic the wokes are now. Yeah. Hey, by the way, everyone, speaking of that, let's go into what we're talking about today to start with, all right? Let's go into what we're talking about today. So, okay. So what's been going on? So we had announcements in the realm of a lot of everyone's favorite space racism simulators, specifically Helldivers 2 and Space King. So we're gonna we're gonna talk about Helldivers 2 first. This one was really funny. Like cause that old topic got brought up.
For
right?
this episode of Not Warhammer, we see out Cybermen talking about media is doomed and how Space King is perfect.
Oh, hey, Stoner Stan 101, how you doing? Okay, right, so, let's bring this up. So, the TLDR here, I brought up that, that classic, okay, look, okay. I know a lot of us have probably played at Helldivers 2 at this point. Nice transition. Thanks, thanks. So, we've all heard the arguments for fucking Helldivers 2, right? Where it's like Super Earth are the bad guys of Helldivers 2, And it's every time there's a major update, it's, it's guys, don't you know Super Earth are the bad guys? Don't you know they're the bad guys? And you should feel bad about playing Super Earth. I have media literacy. I went to college. I know more than you, and you should feel bad. That shit. Right, yeah. So of course I fired off about this. There's not really much to this post, just showing off, the new one of the new enemies, like the literal fucking necromorph creatures they throw at you in Helldivers 2, right? So naturally I just make that comment because, this is just evil, okay? This is just evil. This creature is just evil. And this was a human. And so, common sense, right? So this person decides to fire back with, actually, have you ever actually wondered why they did that instead of just looking and ignoring the story and lore of the faction? Okay. So that's where we're at now. So that's apparently where they're at now. Some other guy. Let's find this guy. Over here on Instagram. I'm not going to unmute this guy. All right. I know exactly what his attitude is from the smug laughing and I'll read his little statement that he wrote here. I'll read his little statement that he wrote here. The good guys versus bad guys argument in Helldivers 2 was taken too serious. Stepping out of the jokes for a second, we quite literally caused the Illuminate, basically a peaceful darling species, to become what they are now. LMAO. Well, first of all, random guy on Instagram. Who the fuck are you even? Who the fuck are you even? Okay. So the Illuminate are now my favorite faction to fight in Helldivers 2, and it's got a picture of the monsters made of screaming, tortured children. All right, I think I've seen all I need to see about this guy. But I love this argument from these woke weirdos, these woke tourists, like these people who are but Super Earth caused this, so it's okay for the Illuminate to do this. Okay, let's step back. All right, let's step back. Let's look at this from a logical perspective. All right. This abomination, this necromorph-looking creature was a human who had never hurt a single Illuminate in their life. All right? And they turned them into this. You know, a mindless abomination of like alien technology and mutation with no mind of its own. Like literally, like it has like, from what I understand, these creatures are like the servitors, where they're still somewhat aware, you know, but not in control of their faculties as they go around killing their fellow man. And then you have these things. You have these things. These monsters that are literally children. These were children. These monsters used to be children. You can hear them screaming and crying inside that head armor. Which, by the way, if you blow the head armor off, that's what's inside. That's what's inside, everyone. Just look at that. Just look at that. That was a child. That was a child, okay? While we're at it, how about the slaughter of innocent civilians on altars by the by the automatons? How about that? How about the fact that the automatons fuel their technology with human gore? Yeah. They fuel their technology with human gore. You know, made from still living humans they throw into blenders. And you could maybe make the argument, well, the Terminids aren't really evil, they're just animals. This is what they do to the planets they inhabit, all right? This cannot be coexisted with. This cannot be coexisted with. Even if the Terminids are not malicious creatures because, you know, animal instinct, this cannot be coexisted with. That's how simple it is. It doesn't, okay. For starters, like when we see these people, you know, whinge and moan about how, well, actually, if you read the lore, guess what? The lore doesn't matter. All right? The lore for Helldivers doesn't matter. For two big reasons. One, Helldivers 1 is effectively not canon. It's effectively not canon. Two, Helldivers 2 is an authorial malapropism. It does not matter what the devs intended for Helldivers 2, because their intent is not what they wrote. What they wrote is a story where Super Earth is coming under attack by vicious alien insects, psychotic cybernetic socialists, and hostile aliens that wish to mutate, you know, innocent humans into monsters to more efficiently kill more innocent humans. So no. The lore doesn't matter because that's what the lore is. Because the lore as the devs intended is wrong. It's wrong because their intent is wrong. Because they did not follow through on their intent. This is the same problem with Starship Troopers, the movie, to clarify, the movie. This is the same problem with James Cameron's Avatar. It's authorial malapropism. What the devs of Helldivers intend does not matter. It does not matter because what they intend is not what they write. What they intend runs counter to how the game plays out. The story of Helldivers 2 is not up to the developers. It's up to the players. They put the story in the hands of the players, and you can tell so often how mad the developers get when the players are legitimately good people. Like somebody brought up in chat. I saw that. I am paying attention to chat. Don't get me wrong. When like players chose to rescue children instead of go for a new weapon. You know, they chose the rescue children objective for nothing instead of getting a new weapon. Or when, you know, we had the ability to push for the victory on Cyberstan and diverted to rescue the Sea infantry. Like, it's a thing that keeps happening. It's almost like you want the players to determine the morality of Super Earth, and then when that morality turns out to be unironically shining, justified paragons of morality, and the devs get all salty because like, but that's not what we wanted you to do. Well, guess what, Arrowhead? If you don't want the players to write the story, you shouldn't have made a game where players write the story. It's that simple, Arrowhead. This story is not yours anymore. It wasn't yours the moment it came out. Because you didn't provide actual context for what's going on outside of the player actions. You are a dungeon master. You are not a storyteller. The players are the storytellers. You just throw the threats at them. That is your job. But the players are writing the story for Helldivers, and the story they write is not the one that you want, and that angers you. That's why the lead developer got up in front of the UN and said, actually, Helldivers 2 was a giant psyop to show how, we could trick normal people into being fascists. Like, no, buddy. No. Editorial does not determine canon. And it doesn't matter if you got up before the United Nations to make your editorial, it's still editorial. Editorial cannot make canon. All right? All right, Arrowhead? You don't get to decide this story, and you never did. The players are deciding this story. You're just throwing the threats at them. And you need to come to terms with that, and tourists like these people need to come to terms with that. That is how simple this whole situation is. The story is up to the players, and the players have decided Super Earth is morally good and justified. So I don't care what schizoids on Twitter or Instagram or even in the developer studio at Arrowhead say. It's not up to you. I'm sorry. It's just not up to you. Survival of humanity is an ultimate good. I mean, yeah, like let's not get wrong. Let's not get ourselves wrong here. And remember, Arrowhead are Swedish, all right? If there's ever a group of self-hating people on Earth, it's the Swedes, okay? There's a lot of unironic misanthropy going on in these kind of things. These people want Super Earth to be evil because they hate humans. They want to justify these horrific monstrosities and what they're doing to humanity in Helldivers. They want to justify it because they don't like humanity in real life. And they're projecting that into the story. That is why they say, oh, the bugs in Starship Troopers are the good guys. Chaos and the Xenos are the good guys. It's the avatars. The Na'vi are the good guys. And no, the Na'vi are not the good guys of Avatar Evil either. I really need to do a better done version of that video on how, the humans are the heroes of Avatar, because they are. The humans from Earth, I mean, like the trying to get the mineral and repopulate on the planet. It's very simple. It's all just bog standard misanthropy and nihilism, dressed up as intellectualism, as presented by just bad storytellers like Arrowhead. Arrowhead thinks the fascists are the good people. Lol, Lamau. Yeah, well, I mean, listen, Super Earth unironically uses fascist as an insult, so you can't call Super Earth fascist. They literally consider fascism evil. RDA, the real heroes of Avatar? Yeah, no, they really are. They really are. It's like anybody actually paying attention to Avatar knows that the RDA are the good guys. The survival of humanity is more important than a bunch of blue cat people living on some backwater moon in another solar system. I'm sorry. That's just how it works. It doesn't help the fact that, Avatar tries to unironically portray a parasitic tree god that mind controls the Na'vi as the good guy, as like the force for good against humanity. Like, fuck off with that. Paul Verhoeven is good at making action movies, but he's not good at satire. No, he was never good at satire. He was never good at satire. Total Recall was bad. Great movie, bad satire. RoboCop, great movie, bad satire. Starship Troopers, great movie, bad satire. The left doesn't know how to write satire. Like, their whole idea of satire is just, trying to ridicule normality. Like, that's really it. Like, that's all their idea of satire is the ridicule of normality. Up to and including the idea that, humans want to keep living even though their world is polluted. Well, you had your shot. Humanity had their shot. They should just die now. It's like, fucking no. That's not how that works. Starship Troopers actually intend to be satire against America's participation in sand wars, not satire against fascism. Verhoeven even stated this in his interview. He's flip-flopped on what it's supposed to represent so many times that what he said. Listen, Verhoeven doesn't get to decide what Starship Troopers is about, okay? The reason he doesn't get to decide is for the same reason Arrowhead doesn't get to decide what Helldivers 2 is about. Because it's an authorial malapropism. His intention for the story did not match what he wrote. The ball is no longer in his court, Arrowhead's court, James Cameron's court, whoever that commits this problem to decide what their story is about. Daily reminder, James Cameron believes in Gaia theory, so that all he says about how credible, that says all about how credible his statement is for the Na'vi and Avatar. Oh God, fucking Gaia theory. Don't get me started on that. Yeah, people the same people unironically hit you with like, oh, you believe in God? Lol, that's so backwards. Sky Daddy isn't real, and then believe in Gaia theory. Like who was the fucking singer that who was the singer who was like, oh, the storms that are killing all those people in Texas is Mother Nature's wrath, for voting Republican or something like that. Who the fuck was that? Was that Taylor Swift? I seem to remember that was Taylor Swift. The fuck is Gaia theory? Oh, it's basically like, Mother Nature is real and is angry. Like, that's what it is. It's something like that. You always like to imagine that RoboCop, Total Recall, and Starship Troopers are all in the same universe, but further along the timeline. You know what? That actually makes a lot of sense, Nuka-Cola. I kind of like that. I really like that, as a matter of fact. You know what? I'm adopting that. I'm adopting that. Shared universe. Tolkien had the exact opposite problem. Tolkien made very clear what Middle Earth was supposed to be, but the hippies turned it into something that it wasn't. Well, I mean, okay, that's the thing. Authorial malapropism is more validity as an idea than death of the author. Because death of the author is basically the idea that, intent doesn't matter. Intent does matter. And there's no argument to say that it doesn't matter. But you can also screw up intent. But screwing up intent is a matter of what the text says and not interpretation. where Death of the Author is all about, you know, alternate interpretation. Like Starship Troopers as the you know, top example, right? Because in Starship Troopers, it's like, hey, you know, the bugs are like, you know, they're actually the good guys because they're supposed to represent how aggressive, you know, aggressive and militaristic fascism is. And it's like, yeah, okay, the bugs provoked the war. Like, you wrote it yourself that the bugs fired the first shot. The meteor was not a false flag. Like, Verhoeven himself said, the bugs did that. The bugs did that. And the Mormon colonists who went into bug territory were told by the Federation, don't go in there. Don't go in there, guys. You know, bad things will happen. And they didn't listen. And like, yeah, it's like the Federation was trying not to start a war. And then the bugs looked for the tiniest excuse and attacked mankind. So no, you don't get to argue aggressive and fascist militarism when the bugs started the war. That's not how that works, Verhoeven. It doesn't matter what you intended when what you wrote is not what you intended. Yikes, looking at this channel, average Black Templar fan with no self-awareness. I accept your concession of the point to me. The bugs aren't fascist because they have no economy and thus cannot be. Yeah. They have no economy and thus they can't be socialists. Because I mean, we all know fascism is a socialist institution. Like, yeah, like that's there's no argument against that. Like, fascism is socialist. Like we know this for a fact because Mussolini was a socialist. You know, socialism that was, you know, he was a socialist that was like, you know, other socialists told him he was too extreme. And so he left to form his own brand of, you know, socialism plus, and that was fascism. Bugs would be, bugs don't have a political system at all, but, you know, if anything, bugs would be communist, because like, look at China and, you know, China, Russia, any communist, you know, Russia during the Soviet days, any communist nation, you know. Your argument is irrelevant when you keep changing the lore. Yeah, that too. Like you need consistent lore in order to make a proper argument about what your intent was. And also, you know, we've talked about Verhoeven, how he's flip-flopped on what Starship Troopers was supposed to be about multiple times. You can't believe we have a Hassan fans invading the stream. Let them. Who cares? I just think it's funny they'll unironically waste their energy coming into the chat here just to be a bunch of, you know, no-life, terminally online losers over a guy they don't even like. Like, you don't like me, but you'll watch my every stream, you'll retweet my every post, you will hinge your existence on my every word, but you don't like me. How incredibly raped, honestly. What an incredibly raped way to behave. Like actually. I pity you. I unironically pity people like that. Like, if you don't like somebody, don't pay attention to them. It's really that simple. Ooh, man, listen, man. It's just we really gotta do something like legally about people like Arrowhead, Verhoeven, whatever. Because I'm sorry, it's always like, oh, you can interpret stories however you want, right up until they can get their precious argument that actually the humans are the bad guys because they're making fun of you, chud. It's like, no, if you believe, okay, if you unironically believe in death of the author, you are not allowed to tell people that they're not getting the story because you yourself don't believe in the author's intent. That's what death of the author is about. You don't think authorial intent is real or applicable at all. So no, if you are, and death of the author is a left-wing communist view. So if you unironically are left-wing, left-wing, if you're unironically left-wing, you don't get to tell people, oh, it's making fun of you, Chud, because, you're not allowed by your own belief system to believe authorial intent is real or relevant. Like, it's that simple. If I remember correctly, the first half of Starship Troopers, the book is all about the importance of voting. I mean, yeah, like people really, okay, so many people like don't read the book, Starship Troopers. The book is more a treatise on, the nature of voting rights and about the idea of, service to one's nation and what that service entails. It's not like a sci-fi action story. A lot of people don't realize that. People think, oh, power armor and alien bugs, and they think it's like a sci-fi action story. It's really not. Like, there's a reason it's required reading at, like, say, West Point, because when you're training officers at West Point, you want them to get that kind of story in them. A story about, contemplating what it means to serve your nation, to sacrifice for your nation, You want them reading those kinds of stories to drill it into them. That's why Starship Troopers is required reading at West Point. Heresy memes aren't fun.
Shut up, bro, you're weird.
Just got here. I have feeling Arrowhead might pull of the war is entirely created by Super Earth High Command. The bots and Illuminati are controlled by Super Earth. Would be silly, but...
Oh, well, first of all, Rogel's Pondering, thank you for the $10 super chat. Oh, yeah, okay, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing about that. That would just be ripping... At that point, that would just be ripping off the Forever War. Was the Forever War? Yeah, the Forever War. That would just be ripping off the Forever War, which, by the way, really good book. I highly recommend it. If you wanna read a book that actually does, perhaps humanity is the bad guys, but like actually well done, sticks to the author's intent, and is actually really good, I recommend the Forever War. That's a really good book. It also takes a lot of jabs at, liberal concept, like left-wing liberal concepts, like, the breakdown of gender roles and, basic morality, and shows what it can do to a civilization over the march of time. It's a really, really good book. I highly recommend it. The Forever War is interesting. Saw Feral Historian talk about it. Yeah, no, he did a video on it. It kind of the video spoils the story, but it's a good video though. I do recommend it. But I definitely recommend more than anything, read the novel. Like read the novel. It's really good. Like, actually. The only restriction is that the severely mentally disabled cannot be given citizenship. Yeah, like we're talking like too mentally incompetent to actually function. Like, yeah, like that's a part of the book. Another thing about, because we're on Starship Troopers now, is the war forever? Perhaps. I don't want to spoil the story, so yeah. But right, yeah. Fucking what do you call it? A lot of stuff is made up by a lot of stuff is just straight up changed by Verhoeven in Starship Troopers to make it worse, to make the Federation try and look worse. It doesn't stick the landing, of course, but he tried, Like, like, you know, another one that got brought up recently by me of all people, you know, of course, because I discuss this every time it comes up on fucking Twitter. The wounded veteran, like Verhoeven does not bring up the context that he's there to scare away potential recruits, or making up the idea that you have to be a citizen to like get a license to have children. That's not in the book. You know, stuff like that. Like he was making shit up as well to try to make the Federation look worse. It didn't work. It's kind of ironic to me though that, you know, it's like, okay, so having a license to have kids is fascist to you? I thought you want that in real life. I thought you want, forcibly have the human population by like 2030? Like that was a talking point y'all had recently? That's bad now? I thought that was a good thing for you people. He tried even harder in the third live action movie and the third live action movie and the third live action movie alongside the second one were so bad the CGI movies ignored them. Yeah. No, Starship Troopers 2 and 3 are not canon. The canon sequels are the CGI the two CGI sequels. Those are the canon Starship Troopers 2 and 3, basically. Don't get me started on the anti-war traitors at the beginning. Yeah, no, but those movies are like, you know, I'll put this out there. Starship Troopers 2 has an okay idea behind it, but the execution is just laughable. 3 is just a shit show start to finish. And Starship Troopers 3 also, that was where they finally introduced the Marauder armor and then fucked it up and they somehow made it lame, which is just like, bro, like, come on. Like, come the fuck. How do you fuck up power armor, the Starship Troopers power armor, that severely? Leftists just make changes on the fly so often that your head spins at a million revolutions per minute. Yeah, look, nobody said they're consistent, you know? Sorry for the yawn. Man, it really just is a factor that, this goes into what I was talking about last Friday, how the left just isn't creative. And how, you know, it proves Starship Troopers proves my point that all relevant art is right wing. It was made by a leftist, don't get me wrong. I fully acknowledge that. But it proves my point that all relevant art is right wing. Because despite his intention, the movie confirms, you know, right wing ideology, you know, right wing values. And Verhoeven was just too stupid to realize that's what he was writing. It's like really that simple. Wish it was the armored gorilla suit from the book. And I'm more a fan of the more human body profile power armor, honestly. Also the stuff from the OVA. That OVA is fucking great. Fucking love the Starship Troopers OVA. You know, I definitely, you know, a recommended watch. Do you think they do it subconsciously? It's because they're not creative. The left is not creative. Left-wing artists are not creative. Like, that's what it is. They need to poach right-wing values and ideology in order to make relevant art. When they only dip into their own ideology and values, they can't make relevant art. The anime power armor is what I mean by armored gorilla suit. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, now I see what you're saying. Memes aren't fun.
Shut up, bro, you're weird.
You can't have heroism in today's movies, sadly.
Thank you, Satellite Cannon, for the $2 super chat, and you are well, for a long time, yes, but we're moving away from that, thankfully. We're moving away from that now. Like, we're slowly starting to get stories and movies again out of the West where, where men, straight white men are allowed to be heroes again, like unironic heroes. We're slowly gonna fix culture. It's inevitable, right? It's inevitable. Like, culture will, like, here's the thing. Politics are downstream of culture. So the left trying to fight an uphill political battle against culture was always doomed to fail. Isn't Neil Blomkamp attached to Starship Troopers reboot? Won't get my hopes too high, but I hope he keeps it accurate to the book. They're saying it's supposed to be more accurate to the book, but my problem is that with Neil Blomkamp is that he really needs somebody to Tard wrangle him story-wise. Because, like, District 9 is an incredible film. Elysium is a beautiful shit show. And Chappie is just garbage. Like, yeah. Blomkamp needs a Tard wrangler. If they could Tard wrangle him with a good writer, I think the Starship Troopers remake, well, it's not really a remake, it's a new adaptation. When you're adapting a book, a new movie based on the book is not a remake of the previous movie. It is a new adaptation of the book. Like, that's something I tell Legend of the Galactic Heroes fans all the time. Die Nue Thys is not a remake of the OVA. It is a new adaptation of the books. The aliens in District 9 were not good. Well, listen, I'm going to give credit where credit is due, all right? District 9 actually does tell a story where, look, don't get me wrong, the prawns in District 9, they're not a benefit to humanity. They are, in fact, a burden. They are a giant burden and a hazard. They're a giant burden and a hazard. But at the same time, the corporation that was experimenting on them, they weren't good people either, basically. Like, there was no way they would have been able to integrate the prawns into South African society. There was just no way they could have done that. Like, that's just how it is. In fact, you could honestly say that, District 9 it's less commentary on apartheid. It's more commentary on the state of race relations in South Africa, because the Afrikaners, the South African people, are learning more and more they cannot coexist with the native Africans that inhabit that part of the world. They are more and more learning they can't coexist with them, and it's sad to see. Excuse me. Ah, Jesus. Fizz for my drink down the wrong pipe. Apologize. Okay, BLKMN. I'm just gonna put it this way with what you just said. You actually can't tell me what District 9 is about because somebody with your politics believes in death of the author. Because you believe in death of the author, you can't tell somebody else that they're wrong about the interpretation of a story. Like that's how simple it is. Leftists cannot tell people they are wrong about what they think a story is about because leftists themselves don't believe in authorial intent. They believe purely in interpretation, in the subjective views of the individual when it comes to what stories are supposed to be about. So whenever a leftist tries to tell you, actually, this is making fun of you, Chud, just like tell them, but you can't tell me that. Because, you know, I'm allowed to interpret art however I want, and the author's intent doesn't matter. Ugh, oh, Jesus. I can tell the weather's changing. My nose just opened up. God damn. Interpretation is the prawns are not friendly, but they lost their leaders, so they weren't able to go on the offensive. More than likely, yeah, that's what happened. More than likely, Neil Blomkamp is the Neil Druckmann of the movie world. Everything at Naughty Dog turned out crap when he fully took over. I mean, listen, visually, he's a talented, incredibly talented director. But the man needs somebody else telling the story. Like he needs to have minimal creative input with the storytelling. Like when he had more creative input after District 9, that's when he started making really trash films. Ugh. Humanity first, aliens last. Absolutely. Well, there's also that little fact, and there's a little fact about it too. At the end of the day, human rights are for humans. They're for humans and not aliens. If we discovered aliens on a planet, like the Avatar scenario, we discover aliens on a planet with resources we desperately need for our survival, fuck them Xenos. They don't matter. Oh yeah, no, trust me, Alec. I know all about Neil Druckmann. I know all about him. But, right, okay, so let's move on. Topic change. So, Space King announcements. I sadly cannot have, I can't have the audio running because, they might get mad. But yeah, Space King announced, the Flash gets announced. Two things. One is, the Space King board game. The other is a new episode of Space King, right? Okay, let's see. Let me actually bring this up. Here it is. Space King guards Moroneko. I mean, we don't know the context behind any of that yet in the story. I really can't wait for the new Space King, though. It's going to be fucking hilarious. But the point is, the point isn't to go over the trailer for Space King, right? The point isn't to, go over the trailer for Space King. Like, we know, it's been a week now. We know, like, plenty about the trailer. And I've gone over it with, Temp and Akko over on Temp's, over on Temp's stream, Dogwave. And, right. But we're not here to talk about, we're not here to talk about the trailer. We're here to talk about the reactions to the trailer. We're here to talk about the very, very, very upset, air quotes, normal people who have completely crashed out over Space King's popularity. Okay, let's read some of these. The more Space King they make, the more you can see the millennials seep through. Why does so much right-wing humor circle around the concept of, oh, we really want to say it, Yeah, we know you want to say, well, yeah, you know the word we want to say. Yeah, we really want to say it. It's just kind of pathetic. Like they're not racist enough to go all out, so it's just sad and edgy instead. Let's see. Oh, I like Rylanor's. I like Rylanor's meme here. Jesse, play Space King, even if we scare the hoes. That's great. That's actually great. That's actually great. You know what? I'm gonna bookmark that and save it later. Oh, hey, look, it's one of everyone's favorite Warhammer community lol cows, Demon Faye Shay, who tried to start her, YouTuber career off a deceptively edited debate with me. And then her YouTube career immediately imploded and she gave up. Well, they definitely know their audience. Generational waste of animation talent. Shay, you have no talent. You have no talent as a person. You have nothing you're good at. Space King got 1 million views on that trailer in a few hours. And that's not an appeal to popularity argument. It got that many views because it's good and it's funny. And people like it. Shay, you can't create anything. The only thing you could figure out how to create was to try to try to make me look bad because you're a histrionic psychopath who also stalked me. So yeah, you don't get to call anyone wasted talent. You don't even have talent to waste. Okay. Oh, hey! It's everyone's favorite welfare recipient, the noise. Not gonna lie, if you actually think this is good, I genuinely consider you a lesser human being. All right. Thumbs up, I guess. I hope. Listen, man. I hope you get a job someday. The noise. I hope you get a job someday. Let's find some more. Marshall Hubrick saying, half the enjoyment of Space King is watching retards lose their shit over the most vanilla jokes imaginable. Then watch them either cope that no one actually watched the series, or make tear-stained essay memes. Very base take, actually. All right, let's find some more. Warhammer wiki enthusiasts who picked up the hobby in 2017 along with some bathtub HRT are taking a break from threatening suicide to complain about Space King again. That was not the comment I thought it was going to be. Oh, shout out to Sharky. Hold on. Let's see. Okay, here's one. This is so Reddit, man. My reaction to when someone says, yeah, I am a based Warhammer fan who watches Space King. For the record, this is a picture of an anime character getting shot through the back of the head and, dying. So they're implying that, if they meet a Space King fan, they would bring physical harm upon them. Okay. Okay, I can't judge that one. I have no idea what the fuck it says. Okay. Space King is a show made for that guy who loves Warhammer but doesn't own a single mini and hasn't read a single book, but loves Purge the Heretic memes. It's boring, safe, edgy, and hasn't made a non-2016 joke in the 4 episodes I've watched. Brutally unfunny. That sounds like a you problem there, buddy. The only way you can enjoy this is if you are 14 and so brain dead you might as well be 14. If you guys didn't use AI like a pair of chumps, I'd support you guys again, but you lost your credibility as artists. Bro, they only use AI for the memes in their Tom and Don on their Tom and Don channel video. They're memes. They're fucking memes. They're not high art. It is okay to use AI to make memes. Shut the fuck up. Oh, I like this guy, Japanese guy. I can't make out what they're saying, but the energy is off the charts. You're pretty cool, buddy. The day I go into my local game store and see people playing Space King is the day that I try to find a new game store to play at. Flash Gets is just so fucking unfunny, man. Do people really enjoy this? A show that only appeals to Israelis and their word I can't say out pets. What the fuck does this have to do with Israel, you fucking retard? I can't wait for a bunch of LARP Hammer fans to see this episode and be annoying for the next 8 months. Don't worry, Poyo. I look forward to annoying you. I've never seen Space King, but is this show how the rest of it is? Warhammer with Rick and Morty humor. Space King fans be like, it's a new episode. It's just an ad for the Kickstarter campaign. They literally, this was also an ad for the new episode. Top 10 animations that will make you the most epic Redditor in the group chat. You know what? It's always funny to me how Redditors will use the term Redditor as an insult. There is nothing more pathetic and raped than the way Redditors will call, people they don't like Redditors. Horseshoe theory, left and right extremists have to link everything to Israel. Yeah, you're right. You're right, dude. Translated from French? I guess Grok doesn't like the French either because he didn't translate it. Unironically falling off hard. I wish they had some self-respect and tone down the random equals funny strategy. I'm not even kidding. Half-assed middle school tier pedophilia and racism jokes. The series was founded on having more integrity. What the fuck you on about? The fuck you on about? Reaching new levels of washed. Flash Gets are kind of racist assholes in the show. Shut up. Oh boy, here it is. Here it is. Here's the one I was looking for. You have to really be careful when making satire. You can make a show that criticizes how a certain group in a fandom are kind of weird and stupid, and that can be a lot of fun, but if you don't limit yourself, you can end up catering to that audience instead. There it is. Actually, Chud, Space King is making fun of you. No. No, my little woke friend. No, my little woke friend. Space King is making fun of you. All right? Space King is making fun of you. You're so tired of the satire. It's so fake and lame. Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. Space King is satire. It's satire of the left. Space King satirizes the left and woke Warhammer tourists especially. Like, hold on. Let me find. Give me one moment, everyone. Give me a moment. I gotta find something. All right. Gotta find a post I made. Fuck, I'm gonna have to go back a bit because this was like earlier this week when this happened. Nope, that's Helldivers. like here's okay, let's get this up there. Because here's what I had to say, and this is just the truth of it. Okay, someone tried to argue Space King was never satire. And to which I said the following: Space King is satire. It satirizes woke storytelling elements, which are also common arguments from Warhammer tourists and grifters. The reason said tourists and grifters hate Space King is because it's making fun of them. And that's how simple it is. Space King makes fun of the left. It is anti-left satire. Heresy memes aren't fun.
Shut up, bro, you're weird.
They slash them are still angry over Transformers.
Thank you, Marine, for the $2 super chat. Yeah, no, I remember the Transformers animation by Flash Gets. That shit was hilarious, man. Leftists don't actually enjoy high-stakes conflicts with the good guys or anyone in the moral right can be harmed or at risk of losing every single battle. Yeah. But no, it's like, no, seriously though, like, this is it. Like, this is what it is, you know? They hate the fact Space King makes fun of them. Space King is brilliant satire. It is absolutely brilliant satire of the left, of Warhammer tourists, of like literally the worst people in the Warhammer community. It satirizes them. It is making fun of them. It is everything those tourists think Warhammer 40K is to you. The reason that they think Warhammer 40K is like that to you is because they don't actually engage with Warhammer 40K. They engage with an idea of Warhammer 40K. In their mind, Warhammer 40K is like what would be a left-wing version of Space King. And with this constructed version of 40K in their head, they think it's making fun of you, normal people. Space King is a right-wing version of that idea of Warhammer 40K, and this satire, Space King, is satirizing the left. And that is why the left does not like Space King. And we've got more commentary, by the way. I saw the trailer for this new Space King game, and I was reminded of this line from X-Men. What's the point of a power fantasy if your foes are always so weak and shown to be weaker than you? To quote director Quentin Tarantino, because it's so much fun, Chan. You are taking Space King way more seriously than any of its fans are. Like, you're trying to find this deep meaning to Space King, and like what, you know, the combat and the conflict is about. And you are thinking way deeper into it than any of Space King's fans right now. Isn't power fantasy? Well, okay, power fantasy, you know, what power fantasy is supposed to be is anathema to the left. Because the idea of like uncritical enjoyment of the self, they can't comprehend that. They can't comprehend any kind of like, you know, entertainment that isn't designed to be like self-flagellating and you know, self-criticizing and hyper self-aware. Repulsive alien hysterics, yes, broken scale, I agree. You've seen people defend God of War 4 being easier than the classic games with, but you're playing as a god, so Kratos, even in gameplay, should have no challenge beating anyone. Yeah, well, okay, it's funny how they'll deride power fantasy until it's one of their power fantasies. Then they're okay with it, but they think it's ironic, so they think it's okay. Space King isn't power fantasy, it's a joke. Well, I mean, yeah, but again, they're overanalyzing the joke. Like, that's the whole thing. Have you seen or reacted to that one video titled, "Is Space King Bad?" Most sensitive video I've seen covering it. I'll have to look that up, actually. I'll have to look that up. Yeah, though, it's like, holy shit, man. Holy shit. Hold on. I found the video. Okay, let me bookmark that. There we go. Counter argument, Space King is good. Well, Space King is good. Like, it's absolutely good, but you think these people obviously are not gonna fucking understand why it's good. They're too busy overanalyzing it. Leftist power fantasies are the ones that typically feature strong protag, weak antag enemies. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we have weak antag scenarios. Yeah, I get it. Or the antagonist is just like the antagonist is just that guy they argue with in the shower. But Beaumont, if there isn't any MCU humor in it, it's obviously right-wing chud sloppa, and we can't have that in 2026. Well, they can cry about it. Because that's what entertainment's going to become over the next couple of years. A lot of leftist power fantasies are just about leftists getting to get away with hurting and killing people for disagreeing. Yeah, pretty much. That or it's shit like, Fiona and Cake. Like legitimately, what Adventure Time became has to be studied. Like, what Adventure Time became has to be studied. Like, it seriously does. Space King, but they destroy Pandora. I'd watch that. I'd watch that in a heartbeat. Fuck the Navi. They don't have real sentience. They're controlled by a giant, fucking mind-controlling, tree demon. The last woke projects that were in production are coming out and flopping. Woke is once again failing to rebrand, and they are trying to claim that was woke 1, we're on woke 2, and it's like they're gonna try rebranding for probably another year or two before finally giving up. What's funny to me. What's funny to me though is that the media literates, are always so sure on what satire is and what it's making fun of, right up until it's making fun of it. Suddenly suddenly then they can't recognize satire anymore. Like suddenly, you know, like suddenly when there's genuinely brilliant satire in the form of Space King making fun of them, all of a sudden satire isn't easy to identify. Steven Universe fans, simping for the Gem Empire is really funny to me when the Gems are everything they hate, imperialistic, expansionist, genociding maniacs, but it's okay because they're LGBT. Well, I mean, listen, guys, Steven Universe gave them a hug and said they're sorry, so it's okay. Don't forget the caste system. Yeah, that too. Gems would fit into 40k, psychotic Xenos led by intelligent yet unstable eldritch entities. Oh fuck, that's actually a good idea. That's actually a good idea for an alien faction. It's a shame that fucking Rebecca Sugar sucked at writing it so much. I was sitting and thinking today, which of us do you think the left hates more? I am everything they hate, but you are a traitor. Well, okay. I'm a traitor to both sides at this point when you get right down to it, because like Chudhammer is genuinely no better than Wokehammer at this point. And has been no better than them for a long time. Like a lot of people who like used to be part of Chudhammer, the normal people have all moved away from it now. They've all moved away from it and are doing their own thing now. You know, people like say, you know, like I keep bringing up Sharky. Sharky is such a great example. His own fucking, you know, doing his own hobby magazine. Heresy memes aren't fun.
Shut up, bro, you're weird.
Remember recently about Pearl's VAR being conserve.
Oh, right, that. Yeah, no, like, man, that was 9/11 for Steven Universe fans finding out that Pearl's voice actor is a unironic right-leaning Charlie Kirk watching Trump voting conservative. Gamza and Nellup are controlled opposition. I mean, they're not Warhammer fans either, so like, yeah. Heresy memes aren't fun.
Shut up, bro, you're weird.
What is the definition of Chudhammer?
What is the definition of Chudhammer? Okay. It started basically as just like people who were like, you know, opposed to, you know, woke tourists trying to, you know, ruin Warhammer. That's what it started as. You know, Warhammer fans fighting back against, you know, woke ideology in the community. Unfortunately, though, when you build your entire movement around politics and not like love of the hobby, which is what Chudhammer was built around, you begin to lose sight of what you started doing, why you started doing it in the first place. And eventually they became just, you know, the woke right. Chudhammer is the woke right now. Like, you know, they'll go off and off about identity politics, about, you know, they'll go off about, oh my God, a black space marine. Warhammer is dead. The woke one guys, like, shut up. They'll freak out about like the most histrionic bullshit. My favorite one was when the new Sanguinary Guard got shown and they were trying to say they were saying that they were trying to turn Sanguinius black. Motherfuckers were doing phrenology on goddamn helmets. Like, come the fuck on, man. And then when when the Wokehammer people are being quiet, they'll start going after their own. Just like when Chudhammer is being quiet and the woke will go after their own as well. They circle the wagons around their people who do legitimate harm rather than, you know, turning them in just like Wokehammer does. The two sides are no different. The two sides are no different from one another. at this point. And the people who were legitimately just normal people trying to combat wokeness, and that was it, have like basically don't identify with that anymore and are off doing their
They're
own
also
things.
all usually Primaris haters, so they whine like little bitches.
Well, that too. Like, come on, man. Like, come on, man. There ain't nothing wrong with Primaris. It's been like 7 years now. It's something like that. It's time to get over it. Heresy memes aren't fun.
Shut up, bro, you're weird.
I'm sort of glad Angels Fall First is such a niche game. Although all the lore is on the company's strangely interactive wiki and not in the game/mod.
Well, thank you for the $5 super chat. And yeah, thank you for the $2 super chat, Rogel's Pondering. I forgot to thank you for that. I'm rude. Yeah, no, like, yeah, no, Angels Fall First is going to be too damn niche to have anyone try. Well, I mean, wokes aren't taking anything over because woke is dead now. Like, let's be real here. Like woke is dead. Like Woke Hammer is basically dead. You know, it's a shadow of what it once was. Like they're like their first leader. You know, like the first leader, Bits Hammer, ran away to Blue Sky. Their second leader, Norn Queen Kia, admitted to being a grifter and quit the hobby. Their third leader, Heart-Shaped Tear, got outed as a pedophile. So it's falling apart, you know? Primaris is a perfectly valid concept, but it needs proper Terminator armor and to bring back some of the better helmet designs. Okay, well, okay. Aaron Hassan, well, first of all, hello. And second of all, well, they're bringing back the older helmets already in 11th edition, and they do have they do have Terminators. Primaris can wear Terminator armor. Like, we got new Terminators in 10th. Primaris wearing Terminator armor is an additional. Age of Sigmar is quite a quantity of woke nonsense. I mean, okay, Age of Sigmar has always been like kind of woke. You know, Age of Sigmar is basically the woke containment game for Games Workshop. I wouldn't be surprised if they keep Mike Brooks on, because recently, hold on, let me find this. Where was that article? That's not it. Ooh, excuse me. Yeah, so like the second, the second Huron Blackheart book is coming out. I don't know if y'all remembered, Mike Brooks wrote the first one. Mark Collins is writing the second one. Yeah. It's almost like when I said they regulated Mike Brooks to writing obscure Xenos factions, that it was the Black Library equivalent of being reassigned to Antarctica. It's almost like I was right or something. It's almost like I was right or something. And, you know, they literally took the Huron Blackheart books away from Mike Brooks and gave them to a different author. I'm sorry, that just puts a smile on my face knowing Mike Brooks is like actually be like, you can feel the vibe shift at Games Workshop right now. Like taking a book series from a woke darling, Mike Brooks, and giving it to another guy is just peak. It's peak. That right there is the sign that there's a vibe shift going on at Games Workshop. If you missed all the other signs, this should be the most obvious one. There's a Loyalist Renegade chapter. A couple of them died at Siege of Baal. Oh, okay, hold on. You hate how Renegade starters become Chaos Warbands light. You want some Loyalist Renegades from time to time? Yeah, no, I'd like that too. And I know they exist, but maybe a little more often, you know? Why is Streamlabs bitching about me in YouTube chat? Hold on. I gotta fuck with chat moderation. God damn it. Right. Let me fuck with this real quick. Gotta watch my own stream real quick. There we go. Fixed it. Okay. No idea why that was broken, but I mean, hey, here we are. All right. Okay, now I have it like auto modded that you can't drop links into chat because people could drop people could drop links in that are like, you know, to try to get you hacked or something like that. You didn't post anything? Okay, that's weird. That's weird. But right, okay, we're straying at the moment. I want to switch topics to another one really quick. Like I've got 2 more topics I want to cover, so I might switch over to game like some gaming then or something if I want to keep going. But yeah, we'll see what happens then. You didn't post any links. Yeah, man. I don't know. It was broken. Oh wait, I know what it was. You misspelled renegades from time to time as renegades from .rhyme, and it interpreted that as a link. That's what it was. That's what was going on. Blackheart, Ash will never let me hear the end of that. he really won't. But right, okay, so I don't know if y'all heard about this happening. Basically, a former Saber employee reported that she was fired, and the work she would have worked on was replaced with AI. Well, the CEO of Saber Interactive decided to speak up about this. Let's see. This Week in Video Games requested a follow-up from Saber Interactive and the following statement from Karsh. That's the CEO of Saber. Stella who? I had to ask Claude because I've never spoken to her or seen her. We have already said we are using AI for certain parts of the game and will update the Steam page once we have finalized the feature set. Let me clarify that the entire story script, were to win an award, would go to someone who can walk up on stage and receive it. It was always our intent to reveal this until Stella violated her confidentiality clause and revealed this before we were ready. We look at our use of AI in this particular game, which will be a lower price title, as a plus for consumers, he said. As far as Stella is concerned, she was replaced by someone more talented and determined for a variety of reasons a few months later. From what I can gather, she enjoys controversy even more than I do. I would frankly, in retrospect, would have been happy to replace her with AI. At least would be dealing with someone programmed to be honest. And to that I say, based? No, this person absolutely deserved to lose their job to an AI. The way he describes them, they're a genuine piece of shit who didn't know how to do their job. She deserved to be replaced. Like, unironically. They replaced a woke person with AI. Based. Do more of that. Do more of that. Replace them. Get rid of all of them. Get rid of all of them. Put right-minded human workers in the place of the AI when you can find them. But AI is unironically more creative than woke people. So I don't mind this at all. I don't mind this at all. Good job, CEO of Saber Interactive. You've secured my pre-order of Space Marine 3 and future DLC purchases of Space Marine 2. Good job, unironically. And of course, Paul Tassi is, pitching a bitch fit about it because, he's, hey, listen, never remind Paul Tassi that he got his start. He got his start on being anti-Gamergate, but completely folded to the woke people when it was politically convenient for him. Oh yeah, no, you make a good you can make a good point there. Replacing NPCs with AI, what's the difference? Like, no, serious, like I'm serious. These people, like, remember, there was an incredibly woke writer on the writing team for Space Marine 2 before, in the early stages of development. And she was apparently such a problem child, they kicked her off the dev team, and she only got in the credits because, you are legally obligated to list everyone who worked on the game in the credits. Paul Tassi's a corporate bootlicker at this point. He really is, man. He really is. They fired her, and that's why the game ended up good. Yeah, and you didn't hear it from me, but I have it on good authority that writer, that woke writer that kicked off the Space Marine 2 dev team was trying to force female Space Marines into the story. Like, apparently an idea she was trying to do, and I trust the source I heard this from, by the way. An idea she was trying to push was that one of Primaris's squad mates would have been one of the first female Space Marines made through the Primaris gene seed, which apparently, according to her, can work on women. So, and there would have been a big side story of Titus trying to learn to get along with her and accept her as a Space Marine when he doesn't want to. In fact, if I had to wager a guess, a little bit of that plot line survived into the final game. And I think it's Gadriel's plot line. I think they repurposed this character into Gadriel in the final version of Space Marine 2. Literally one of the coolest characters in, Space Marine 2. And all they had to do was turn him into a man and make his problem with Titus about, the fact he doesn't trust him, nor does he trust his command decisions. Actual good storytelling instead of generic, oh, you just don't like me because I'm a strong woman, Yeah, but Gadriel's established to be upset because he got overlooked for a promotion. Well, I mean, yeah, okay. But my point is that I think Gadriel is what they salvaged from this character to turn into an actual Space Marine character. I'm not saying Gadriel is female. God, no, he's not. What I'm saying is that early version of the script where, she was going to write in, Titus being sexist and learning his lesson, you know, with his new female squad mate, that got turned into Gadriel. It got completely repurposed into a different character, but that character tension between them remained, basically. More like bits and pieces of that storyline made it into Titus conflicts with both the. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like that's what I mean. Like that's what I mean. I wouldn't be surprised if under this writer, Chiron was a little more of a woke black character than a black character in the early cut. But again, it was very clear they had to salvage the writing of Space Marine 2, considering how long it took to make and all the delays. But it was absolutely a top-notch decision to fire that bin and, you know, put real writers in charge. Best place to put a female Space Marine in game, opening with the Death Watch. She's from a custom chapter and dies with everyone else. No, Boomer, no. The best place to put a female Space Marine in your Warhammer 40k story is you don't. Like, it's that simple. You just don't. You just don't, man. You just don't. Listen, I still think Games Workshop may have been planning female Space Marines for 11th, and then when you know, Phil Kelly took over, he shit-canned it and forced them to rewrite it. Because it is a little weird to me that the Space Marine Codex is not launching immediately alongside the Orc Codex. No, isn't. The Damunculaba is not a female Space Marine. The gene seed involved in the Damunculaba is injected into the womb to be mixed with the aspirant within. Not like, you know, it's not like part of the woman being used as a Damunculaba. You think the backlash of the badly made plastic heads revealed candidate? No. Games Workshop started reversing course when Phil Kelly took over being lead of 40K. When he took over lead of 40K, that's when you started seeing the vibe shift. I'm almost at the point where I feel like the impending reboot of Age of Sigmar, in a desperate attempt to save it, they're going to try and de-wokeify Age of Sigmar. I think that's going to be their Hail Mary play to save Age of Sigmar, is to de-wokeify it. Like that's what I believe on that regard. But all right, sticking to Warhammer as a topic. Last topic for the night. We have I wanted to bring this up. The Total War Warhammer 3 End Times DLC. So yeah, we're getting what do you call it? We're getting like there's gonna be 4 legendary lords with it. Boris Todbringer. Hold on. Hold on. Shit. All right. We're okay. I think it lists these. I know Todbringer. I know Nagash. I don't forget the name of the Nurgle guy. I forget the name of the Skaven guy. Total War Age of Sigmar will be our next game. They're never going to make Total War Age of Sigmar. They're never going to make it. Age of Sigmar isn't popular enough to justify AAA games. They tried that with that heresy memes aren't fun.
Shut up, bro, you're weird.
I remember one of the commercials of the first Space Marine snuck in an actress saying, "I am a Space Marine." The start of female Space Marines.
Well, thank you well, first of all, thank you for the $5 super chat, Marine. Which commercial are you talking about? What commercial are you talking about? Like for what? I'm actually kind of curious now because I know you're joking. I know you're joking. Don't get me wrong. I'm kind of curious about the commercial now that you're talking about. You cannot save AOS. It's gone too far down the LGBTQ hole. I mean, okay, yeah, okay, Victus, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You can't save it. They can't save Age of Sigmar, all right? They can't save Age of Sigmar, but they're gonna try. They're gonna do they gotta do a Hail Mary try, you know? Just finished that Is Space King Bad video. I gave it a chance. The hypocrisy and irony, as I said in my comments, that whiny supposed bisexual came out swinging at the grifting. Okay, so it's bad. I getcha. The I Am a Space Marine launch commercial for the first game. Oh, okay. Because I was thinking so far back, I was thinking of the old Space Crusade commercial from like the 80s. But then I remembered all the players at the table were boys, and I was like, what? Okay, you're talking about Space Marine 1, though. Okay. But, yeah, no. Man flashes back to the 1900s. Yeah, man, listen, it's just how I'm programmed, all right? But yeah, no, okay, so I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna make a prediction here, all right? I'm gonna make a prediction here. The Empire campaign for the DLC, for the End Times DLC, the ending will be to stop the End Times, and that will be the canon ending. That will be the canon ending of Total War Warhammer 3 and Warhammer Fantasy lore. They're going to release the End Times DLC, and they're going to use it as their point to break off from Age of Sigmar and make it an alternate universe. That's what I'm predicting. And do you want to know why I'm predicting it? You want to know why I'm predicting it? Because they know they can't convince people who got into Warhammer through Total War Warhammer to get into Age of Sigmar. They can't convince them to get into it. So they're going to have to create, because they have said in the trailers, you can prevent the End Times. So what they're going to do is they're going to say, the Boris Todbringer campaign prevents the End Times from happening. And that's the ending. That's the canon ending. The End Times are prevented. Because genuinely, I believe at this point, Games Workshop is aware they have to break the two apart. They have to break the old world and Age of Sigmar into two separate settings. I fully believe they are aware they have to do this for the health of both games. So they'll basically turn Age of Sigmar into an alternate universe where the End Times were successful and, and the old world was destroyed and all that. And then there'll be the ongoing world of, Warhammer Fantasy, or the old world as they separate it now. And that will be that will be a defining line going forward. I don't think they will reveal this immediately. Heresy memes aren't fun.
Shut up, bro, you're weird.
No Age of the Star Child then /S.
Oh God, no, that's not happening. We already had the 40k End Times. It was called The Gathering Storm. We already had the 40K end times. It came and went. I know you're joking, but I'm just saying for anybody that might be thinking, we already had it. It came and went. It was the Gathering Storm campaign. Thank you for the $2 super chat. But yeah, no, like I genuinely believe they're gonna do that. All right. They're gonna separate off Warhammer Age of Sigmar into an alternate timeline where the end times were successful, and they're going to have the Empire campaign in the end times DLC redefine the ending of the end times so that, you know, the Skaven fail, Nagash fails, Chaos fails, and, you know, that's it. That's it. The old world is saved. Like the old world will never be peaceful, but it will be saved. And I genuinely feel like that is what they want to do because they want to continue the Warhammer Fantasy brand. And when you put a definitive end of the world on your brand, that limits its sales potential. Like, why do you think they're trying to make the Scouring a thing now for Horus Heresy? Because Horus Heresy, up until they added the Scouring, had a shelf life. Because once the Heresy is over, that's it. We did it, Patrick. We saved the old world. I'll say this much. Until they actually confirm it, until they actually, you know, confirm this theory of mine, it is not like again, this is me conspiracy posting, all right? They could always just continue into Age of Sigmar like a bunch of idiots. Like, if they are idiots, they will do that. But the signs I'm seeing, especially when they say openly you can choose you can fight to prevent the end times and DLC, I think they're going to use the end times DLC's good ending as they're in to separate out Age of Sigmar as an alternate universe. That is what I genuinely believe they're going to do. World War II war games have been going on since before World War II, despite the fact World War II was even more finite. If you can't milk a 30 to 100 year war longer, that's a skill issue. Well, okay, Boomer. The problem with that is that World War II was a real war. Narratives don't work. Written narrative doesn't work that way. Written narrative works differently. I feel like at some point, if they do this, what they will do is they will allow Warhammer the Old World to catch back up to where Warhammer Fantasy was lore-wise. I also feel like something they're going to do is they're going to start releasing re-releasing the, legends, air quotes, armies for Old World. Like Skaven, Dark Elves, etc. Either with new models, or they might just make the Age of Sigmar models that work for both games cross-compatible with a different bases. I distinctly feel like they're going to do that. I feel like that's the path they want to build toward, because they are fully aware that the old world makes them more money and Age of Sigmar makes them less money. They know where the money is. That's why they aren't doing AAA Age of Sigmar games anymore. But yeah, that's where I feel like they're going to be going with Old World and, Old World and Warhammer Fantasy. That I think they're going to be they're going to be splitting the two up. Like, I genuinely believe that. I genuinely believe they're going to split the two up. I think it's just a matter of time now, because guess what? Games Workshop likes money, and this Age of Sigmar thing hasn't been working since they released it. So they have to do something, and they have to do it soon. And that's what I think they're going to do. All right. Give me one moment, everyone. All right. All right. Okay. One momento really quick. Nope. Snooze that. Snooze that. All right. Snooze that ad. All right. All right, my buddy Razor. I've run out of topics to talk about. My buddy Razorwind is playing a Helldivers 2 right now. So yeah, I'm gonna send y'all to watch him. Might as well just end now rather than try to stretch the stream out unnecessarily because I've covered all my topics. Thank you all for watching, everyone. I will catch you all next week. I don't know what I'll be doing next week. I'll figure that out when I get there. Thank y'all for watching, for talking along, for the super chat, etc. Hope y'all have a good weekend. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you on the flip side. Later.